Today, we're going to talk about what is the ATT&CK Framework and why you need to understand it so that you can protect your business, because without an understanding of this, your company will remain at risk. So what is the ATT&CK Framework? Well, first of all, you'll note that it's spelled a little differently. It's ATT&CK, and it stands for Adversarial Tactics, Techniques, and Common Knowledge. So basically, this is a framework that outlines the bad guys, the cyber criminals, tactics, techniques, and it also gives common knowledge as to what they are. There's a group out there called MITRE, M-I-T-R-E, that has kind of brought this to the forefront, and it's a great a company to look in if you really want to find out what the MITRE attack looks like. They have listed out all of the ways that bad guys are infiltrating our data systems networks for nefarious reasons, all the way from email to brute force attacks to man-in-the-middle attacks, really all different types of attacks. And why it's important to you as a business owner is because ultimately it is not the one and done kind of attack that we're seeing in the past. These cyber criminals are getting into our system and living there on average about 7 months. They call it living off the land. So they're basically living in your house and hiding out, obfuscating themselves so that they can gather more data about your family members, about your assets, to determine really what it is about you that they can monetize. And it is not, again, a one and done. They're not just getting in and encrypting all your files. First, they're getting in, they're discovering what you do, what type of files you have. They're gathering them, they're exfiltrating them. Basically, they're stealing them, and then they're probably going to encrypt you. So they've already got all the goods stolen before they actually encrypt you in today's attacks that we're seeing. So it's really important to understand this. And really, from a personal standpoint, what I am working on very diligently is trying to figure out ways to know whenever they're first basically coming in the front gate. I don't want them all the way in the bedroom with me before I know that they're in the house and they've already plundered every room and they basically have a gun to my head and I'm laying up in bed. You want to find out way ahead of time that they're in the house. And there's, for the good guys like us, it's great that there are these entities out there that are documenting each time, and we can submit our log files to them, and they will parse through them and look at them to help us determine when and where the actual breach happened, and then the techniques where they took a simple email compromise and how they exploited it all the way up into a major ransomware attack. So this is something that's a little technical, but really not that technical. If you were to study a battlefield, this is ultimately how the bad actors are doing. They actually call it the cyber kill chain, in the same way that the armed forces work on kill chains in order to take over an enemy land and territory. This follows that same pattern. It's very interesting. It's really not as complex as you might think, but you need to understand it. You need to have a defense in-depth strategy in order to protect your organization, because if you do not have certain barricades up, the bad actors are going to exploit you. And nowadays, with all of the attorneys being involved in this cyber liability insurance, it adds such a complication to your life, not only from a monetary standpoint, but just having to go through that. I've been with many clients as they've gone through it, and literally, I guarantee it's taken years off their life. So if you have more questions, please reach out. This is something that every business owner needs to be addressing right now.